Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Stock Market News Recap Show number 3 ever in history, guys. We're going to do like we usually do. We're going to look at the markets, how they did this past week. Then we're going to go ahead and look at some of the biggest stories I felt that happened this week. And then we're going to look at what is there to look forward to. And then next week, guys, hit a thumbs up if you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them with you every single week. So let's get into this. So first off, Dow Jones Industrial Average finished the week up almost 1%. So very, very nice. Dow Jones, good week for that. The S&P 500 was up about 0.81%. Not too shabby. And the NASDAQ was up just over 1%. So overall, a good week for the markets. I mean, if we could have weeks like this all the time, it would be fabulous. The S&P, by the way, for the year to date, so which is only, I mean, what are we, a month and a week into the year? It's up almost 7%, guys. It's up over 6.5% over on just in the past basically month and a week. So the NASDAQ's on a tear, but overall the markets are just doing pretty good so far for the year. I mean, if we get these type of gains every week, it would be phenomenal, guys. So let's go ahead and look at some of the biggest stories this week. So the first biggest story we had was the fact that the markets ended on a high note, and the highest it's ever been. All the markets, you know, they're the highest they've ever been, and this is partially because of basically a tax plan that Trump wants to basically eliminate not eliminate corporate taxes. He wants to lower the rate drastically on corporate taxes, as well as a lot of the regulations. So when I look at this, I see the markets are mainly doing good, not necessarily because earnings are so like gangbusters, because earnings really aren't that gangbusters. If you looked at the earnings overall, and I mean, I'm not just talking about the super high growth companies. If you look at the earnings overall, they were like okay, but it's not like they're going gangbusters or something. So the fact that the markets are doing as well as they are in record highs is mainly because of this whole cutting the corporate tax rate, because that could drastically make companies' earnings a lot higher, guys. I mean, if they cut corporate taxes from, say, a 35% rate down to a 20% rate, we're talking, you know, for some companies that's billions of dollars in difference. Some companies it might be hundreds of millions of dollars difference. So it's a huge difference in valuation there. So that is kind of the biggest story to me, that the markets are at all-time highs right now, and the fact that they're really due because of tax plans that. And by the way, those tax plans, they might take a lot longer than some expect. I mean, it could be more than a year away, guys, on when those tax plans will actually change. It's not an easy process. Next thing that caught my eye was the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits unexpectedly fell last week to near a 43-year low amid further tightening in the labor market that could eventually spur faster wage growth. This is fabulous news. I mean, guys, there's no other way to, say it. That's really good news. The lowest it's been in 43 years. Now, of course, I always have a couple people that say, these numbers are fake or whatever. The government just makes them up. I take them for what they are. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be true. But, that's really freaking good news, guys, because the tighter the labor market gets, the better chance we have for wages to increase at a decent rate. And wages is what we really need. I mean, the unemployment rate has fallen, for the last years. It's fallen year after year after year after year. But wages have gone very, very much of nowhere, guys. They've hardly moved up at all. We need wages to move up a lot faster. The way you get wages moving up a lot faster is having a tight labor market, having companies competing for workers rather than just being able to get them in the snap of a finger, guys. So that is really good news there on the overall economy. Next thing up here we're looking at is confidence among chief executives of US-based companies and relative to other CEOs around the world just experienced one of the largest single quarter gains in history, up 4.2 points in the quarterly YPO Global Pulse Survey. Why? Basically Last week, President Trump, he signed an executive order requiring that every new federal regulation that's adopted, 2 old ones must be scrapped. This goes one step further than Canada's 1-to-1 rule implemented in 2012 and managed to save Canadian businesses more than $22 million and 290,000 compliance hours between 2012 and 2014 alone, according to the Government of Canada. So between this and between the lower tax rates on corporations, this is why confidence among, CEOs all across America are at the highest they've been in a long time, guys, because if you're looking at it from a CEO perspective, when you see the fact that your taxes are going to go way down and you're going to be able to be a lot more profitable, then you see the fact that the chances of you being regulated more for your industry are much lower because, like he signed an executive order that basically every one regulation they put in, they got to eliminate 2 regulations. That makes the government not want to put in nearly as many regulations because then you got to scrap 2 of them, guys. So I'm a small business owner, and I know how much regulations can dampen things. I mean, the fees you have to pay for this and that, and the process and the time it takes, guys, it's a pain in the freaking butt. And I have a small company. Imagine if I had a mid-sized company, where I had 10, 100 people employed, or a large company, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people employed. I can only imagine the type of regulations these companies have to deal with. So for that reason, I can see why CEO confidence is as high as it's been in a long, long time, guys. Next up here, I know a lot of you guys are invested in NVIDIA or interested in NVIDIA. They reported numbers this past week, record quarterly revenue of $2.17 billion, up 55% from a year ago. Full year revenue was up to $6.91 billion, up 38% from a year ago. So they actually are growing faster in the past quarter than they are in the overall year. That's a really good sign. Record quarterly GAAP gross margin at 60%. Are you kidding me? Non-GAAP gross margin at 60.2%. Unbelievable numbers NVIDIA reported there. NVIDIA has some super high expectations, though, because that stock is up like 500% or something insane in the past year, guys. It's ridiculous how much that stock has gone up. So their expectations are like up here. So for NVIDIA, it's a no touch for me, and I'm not interested in investing in it. Not because, I mean, look at the growth, it's fabulous, but it has a super high PE, and this is one of those companies that when you have a stock that goes up that much, you almost have to be perfect. You almost have to report like ridiculous numbers every single quarter to keep that stock moving, Otherwise, if you even report like a little slip up, that can kill a momentum stock like this, guys, which is what NVIDIA is. So, but regardless, unbelievable quarter, and congratulations to anybody that's in NVIDIA stock, because you're probably doing very well overall on those shares. Next up here, this wasn't actually a big news story. If any of you guys follow Activision Blizzard, they reported earnings yesterday, and their stock went up just under 19% today. Why did I even cover this? Well, about a year and a half ago, they bought out my biggest investment, King Digital, the makers of Candy Crush game and whatnot. They bought them out for $5.9 billion, which I thought was a kind of a crap deal. It wasn't nearly the premium that I thought King Digital should have gotten, and I was kind of unhappy with the deal, but I only own so many shares, so it's not like I could postpone the vote or whatever. So I basically had my company stolen from me by Activision Blizzard, and yes, I did get a premium on the shares, but whatever. So Activision Blizzard, they report these numbers and their stock goes up 19%. How I feel is like, have you ever like broken up with somebody in high school or college or gotten a divorce or whatever? Like maybe you don't like wish harm on them, but you don't want to see them like doing great in life. You don't want to see them like, doing fabulous and like throwing it in your face. When Activision Blizzard reported those numbers, basically all because of King, the great King numbers, I saw the stock go up and it made me feel so jealous. Like, why do you have to be up? You're my ex. So that's how I felt about that one, guys. Maybe you felt that same way before. I'm sure someday you'll probably feel like that. Anyways, so what are we looking for this upcoming week? Not a lot of news coming out this upcoming week, guys. There's 2 earnings I will be paying attention to. One is John Deere. They're the biggest pretty much agricultural equipment type company out there, guys. And they also are in the construction market. So I like to pay attention to those numbers because you get to see some macro trends there. Also, Pepsi is reporting numbers. Coke just reported numbers this past week. So now Pepsi's going to do it this upcoming week. I'll be looking out for Pepsi numbers, but mainly the John Deere numbers just for macroeconomic reasons and see how things are going there. By the way, you guys ask a lot of questions about like Trump's wall and what if he builds a wall, and sometimes I don't know if you guys are trolling me or you're being serious. I guess you guys are being serious. A way to play that wall, if it does get built, is Caterpillar, John Deere. Those are two big construction companies that their equipment will probably be used in that wall if it does get built or doesn't get built, guys. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this stock market video, number 3 ever in history. I hope you enjoyed. If you just came across this and you've not subscribed yet, you may want to. We talk personal finance in this channel. I'm an entrepreneur. I give away a lot of my business tips, and we talk the stock market the most in this channel, including this series we do every single Saturday, guys. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.